22nd, 1732 in Westmoreland, Virginia. I think that most people know me because I was a founding father and helped fight for America's freedom. I was also the first president of the United States. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I lived. When I was young, I was interested in riding horses in the country and going to Mount Vernon. I also surveyed land. Life was hard when I was growing up. My parents' names were Augustine and Mary Washington. They were good parents. As a child, my dad Lawrence taught me how to be a gentleman. He made sure that I learned math and reading. My father was a owner and a planter. He died when I was only 11 years old. I learned many things from my uncle and my older brother. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. During the Revolutionary War, I led the Continental Army and fought for America's freedom. I was the first president of the United States of America. I led our country when we were just starting out. I made a law that people could only serve as president for 2 terms. My great accomplishments were being the commander-in-chief of the American Army and being the first president of the United States. I lived to be 67 years old. I died on December 14th, 1799 at my home, Mount Vernon in Virginia. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about George Washington because I know a lot about him already. I think it's cool how he was the first president. Liberty, when it begins to take root, is a plant of rapid growth.
Hello, my name is Dolly Poison. I was born on January 19th, 1946 in Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. I think that most people know me because I am a famous singer and songwriter. I also have my own theme park and I give lots of books to children with the imagination library. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I lived. When I was young, I was interested in reading and telling stories. I was already writing songs when I was 7 years old. Life was hard, but full of love. When I was growing up, my parents' names were Robert Lee and A.B. Codman. They were very poor but hardworking. They loved all the children very much. My father was a farmer and my mother took care of us. As a child, we were very poor. We all worked together and we were very happy. My mother made me a coat out of rags for the winter. I was very proud of it. I even wrote a song about it. I wasn't always a good student, but I also always loved reading and daydreaming. About my dreams, my family was very proud of me. Everyone knew that I wanted to be a star. When I grew up, I did many things. I finished high school and headed to Nashville. I began working to reach my dreams. I began working on many jobs. I would my songs too. My greatest accomplishment was getting to sing and perform on the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee. I am 80 years old. My husband died last year, but we were married for 60 years. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Dolly Parton because she is a great songwriter and performer. She also does a lot for others. Being a star just means you find your own special place and you shine wherever you are.
Hello, my name is Steve Owen. I was born on February 22nd, 1962 in Upper Fenchurch, Gully, Australia. I think that most people know me because I rescued a lot of animals. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I live. When I was young, I was interested in rescuing animals. I love the outdoors and all animals. I always wanted to play with my father's snakes. Life was nice and happy when I was growing up. My parents' names were Bob and Lyra. They were wonderful parents who shared their love of animals and adventure with me. As a child, I liked helping animals, and I especially liked helping crocodiles. I started rescuing crocodiles at age 9. I caught my first venomous snake at age of 6. I was always wanting my mother to stop by the side of the road so I could rescue a lizard or some other type of reptile. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. I turned the Queensland Reptile Park into the world-famous Australian zoo for animals, and I became famous. I also helped all the animals that I rescued. My goal was to release them back into the wild when they healed. I loved animals a lot, and I wanted to care for them. I established many conservation charities. I started the show The Crocodile Hunter in 1996 to bring wildlife awareness to the whole world. My show lasted until 2006. My greatest accomplishment was making my famous TV show The Crocodile Hunter. I was also very proud of my family, my wife Terry and my daughter Bindi Sue. I lived to be 44 years old. I died on September 4th, 2006 from an accident with a stingray. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Steve Irwin because he rescued animals, and I really like animals. I probably saved thousands of people's lives with my educational message on snake bites, how to get around anything venomous.
The Life of Thomas Edison by Jane. Hello, my name is Thomas Edison. I was born on February 11th, 1847 in Milan, Ohio. I think most people know me because I'm 1874. I developed the telegraph. I invented the electric light bulb in 1879 and 1928. I received a special medal from the U.S. Congress. My greatest accomplishment was inventing many things, including the long-lasting electric light bulb. I also invented the electric system to power it. I lived to be 84 years old. I died on October 18, 1931. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Thomas Edison because he invented the light bulb and many other things to make life easier for us today. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is try just one more time.
My name is Princess Karen. I was born on July 1st, 1961 in Newport, England. I think that most people know me because I married Prince Charles and became Princess of Wales when I married Prince Charles of England. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I live. When I was young, I was interested in riding my bike, swimming, and climbing trees. I loved playing in all the rooms in my family's mansion. Life was easy, but sometimes challenging. When I was growing up, my parents' names were John and Francis Spencer. They were rich and powerful and part of the British nobility. They divorced in 1969. As a child, I was happy but sad because my parents divorced. It was hard because I loved both of them so much. I was sent to finishing school in Switzerland when I was a teenager, but I was homesick. I always loved England. When I was 18, I moved into an apartment with my friends. I enjoyed being independent, and I soon realized that I loved working with children and older people. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. I married Prince Charles on February 16, 1981. I was the Princess of Wales, but life wasn't always easy for me. I did have two wonderful sons, William and Harry. When my marriage and I spent a lot of time helping others. I traveled around the world visiting homeless shelters and children's hospitals. My greatest accomplishment was traveling around the world and visiting the homeless shelters and children's hospitals. I also visited countries that had been affected by war. I was called the People's Princess. I lived to be 36 years old. I died on August 31st, 1997 in a car accident. I hope you enjoyed learning about myself and the life I lived. What I did become famous. I chose to read a biography about Princess Diana because she helped a lot of people. She inspired me with her kindness. Everyone needs to be valued. Everyone has a potential to give something back.
in Akron, Ohio. I think most people know me because I was the great basketball player. I'm going to tell you more about myself and the life I lived. When I was young, I was interested in basketball and football, and I was always very athletic. Life was hard growing up. My mother's name was Gloria Jane. She was a hard working, determined to be a good mother. As a child, I loved playing football and basketball. When I was in high school, I began playing organized sports. My father was not part of my life, but I had a great coach who helped me excel at my basketball. I was already breaking records on the court when I was in high school. As an adult, I had many great moments. When I was in junior high school, the scout would come to watch me play. Even if O'Neal came to watch me play. I was on the cover of Sports Illustration in 2002, and everybody knew I was on my way. The Cleveland Cavaliers selected me at the first overall pick in the NBA draft. I won Rookie of the Year. My greatest accomplishment, and I also played for the Miami Heat. My greatest accomplishment was being an MVP player in the NBA. I was also the youngest player to score 20,000 points in the NBA. I hope you enjoyed learning about myself and the life I lived. I chose to read a biography of LeBron James because he's the greatest basketball player of all time. Don't be afraid of failure. This is the way to succeed.
The Life of Neil Armstrong by Gavin. Hello, my name is Neil Armstrong. I was born on August 5th, 1930 in Wikipedia, Ohio. I think most people know me because I was the first person to step foot on the moon during the Apollo 11 mission. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I lived. When I was young, I was interested in the aircraft. I modeled planes and experimented with new planes. I flew in a plane for the first time when I was 7 years old. Life was good, but I worked hard when I was growing up. My parents' names were Stephen and Boylight Armstrong. They were loving parents who helped me accomplish my goals. As a child, I saw my first air show when I was 2. When I was 8, I tried to fly off a tree and it hurt my head really bad. I was determined to fly after I saw my first air show. I also built model airplanes and earned my pilot's license when I was 16 years old. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. I went to college for a couple years, and then I decided to join the Navy. I flew small single-engine fighter planes. I went to fight in the Korean War. I was one of the youngest pilots. I became an experimental test pilot first, then I later applied to be an astronaut. Soon I began working for NASA. And it wasn't long before I was a famous astronaut in training. I married Jeanette Sharon and had 2 sons. My greatest accomplishment is being the first person to step foot on the moon. I lived to be 82 years old. I died on August 25th, 2012 in Ohio. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Neil Armstrong because he was the first person to step foot on the moon. He also got his pilot's license before his driver's license, and he was a great inspiration. This is one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind.
Hello, my name is Diane von Berstenberg. I was born on December 31st, 1946 in Brussels, Belgium. I think that most people know me because I invented the wrap dress. I'm going to tell you more about myself and the life I lived. When I was young, I was interested in economics, but I always loved clothes and style. Life was hard sometimes when I was growing up, but I learned so much from my mother, who was a Holocaust survivor. She taught me that fear is not an option.
helped me become the person I am today. When I was young, I studied economics. I attended boarding schools in Switzerland. When I was older, I got an honorary degree from the New School. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. I was elected the COFP's Council of Fashion Designers president. I also invented the wrap dress, my brandy, the Upclose handbags, shoes, and accessories. I'm in the Women's Hall of Fame, too. I married Prince Edmund von Furstenberg and became a princess. I was very busy. My greatest accomplishment is empowering women to be strong and confident. I'm known for my leadership and kindness. Every day I give to charities. I am also part of many programs to help others. I'm 80 years old. I hope you enjoy learning about myself and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Diane von Furstenberg because she's a fashion designer and I'm going to be a fashion designer too. That feeling of gaining my independence and wanting it for every woman is what gave me the drive.
Hello, my name is Amelia Earhart. I was born on July 24th, 1897, in Atchison, Kansas. I think most people know me because I was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I lived. When I was young, I was interested in airplanes and flying. I loved adventure and learning new things. Life was fun when I was growing up. My parents' names were Edwin and Amy Earhart. They were wonderful parents who worked hard and encouraged me to follow my dreams. As a child, I loved my sister Mario. We played football and fish. We read books and collected bugs. Most girls wore long dresses for playing in those days. Our mom made us play suits for us. We could run and play like boys. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. I worked as a nurse and I worked at a center that helped poor children. I went to an air show and fell in love with flying. I worked hard to be a pilot. I won many awards and medals. I cannot wait to start breaking flying records. I did things that women have never done before. My greatest accomplishment was being the first woman to fly across the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. While attempting to fly around the world, my plane went missing somewhere over the Pacific Ocean. My disappearance has always been a mystery. It is believed that I died around July 2nd, 1937. I live to be 40 years old. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Amelia Earhart because she was a brave pilot woman. Women must try to do things as men have tried, and when they fail, their failure must be but a challenge to others. The life of Lionel Messi Robinson. Hello, my name is Lionel Messi. I was born on June 24th, 1987 in Rosario, Argentina. I think that most people know me because music to become better and more popular. I was known as the Queen of Tejano music. I became one of the most adored singers of Latin music. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I live. When I was young, I was interested in singing Tejano music in Spanish. Life was hard when I was growing up. My parents' names were Abe and Marcela Gintemir. They were hard workers. My father taught music to me and all my siblings. We were very talented. As a child, I opened a restaurant called Papagayos. While people were eating or sang to the crowd. Then, when Papagayos closed, we had to live in a bus for a while. There was no air conditioning in the bus, so it was very uncomfortable. It was that our family band became our main source of income. Soon, I became a superstar. During my life, I accomplished many things. I became the first female Tejano artist to win a Grammy Award. I won 67 awards to 68 nominations. I broke many records. One of my albums was the first Tejano album to go to gold. I was also a fashion icon. My greatest accomplishment was winning the Best Female Vocalist of the Year and Performer of the Year in 1987 Tejano Music Awards. I lived to be 23 years old. I was killed by the president of my fan club. I died on March 31st, 1995. I hope you enjoy learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Selena Quintanilla because I am a singer and I like to sing and listen to music. And she was an inspiration to me. If you're gonna be somebody, you need to be a leader, not a follower. Be strong and the possible is always impossible.
Anne Frank by Alice. Hello, my name is Anne Frank. I was born on June 12, 1929 in Frankfurt, Germany. I think most people know me because I kept a diary while I was in hiding during World War II. We had to hide because my family was Jewish. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I lived. When I was young, I was interested in writing and being with my friends. And I also loved movie stars. Life was wonderful at first, but became very hard when Hitler came to power. My parents' names were Otto and Edith Frank. They were wonderful parents who did everything they could to keep us safe. My father worked at the Opeka company, which made jams and jellies. As a child, I was very happy living with my family in Germany. When Hitler came to power in 1933, our lives changed. We soon moved to Amsterdam to get away, but Amsterdam was soon invaded by Nazi Germany. My father decided to have the family go into hiding. We hid on the top floors of his office building. I accomplished many things even though I was in hiding. I kept a diary and described what life was like for the Jewish people. We had lost our rights and freedoms, but I still kept my hope that things would get better. My diary has been very important for the whole world. My greatest accomplishment was writing my diary about my life while my family and I hid from the Nazis. Now children all over the world know about myself and the horrible things that can happen because of hate. I lived to be 15 years old. I died in March of 1945 from typhoid fever. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Anne Frank because she hid for 2 years while Hitler was in power. And she shared her feelings, good and bad. She never lost hope. Her diary helps the world to understand all the things that happened during that time in history. In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart.
Hello, The Life of Peyton Manning by Ben. Hello, my name is Peyton Manning. I was born on March 24th, 1976 in New Orleans, Louisiana. I think most people know me because I am a great football player and an example for kids who play sports. I want to play well, not myself, and the life I live. When I was young, I was interested in football because I loved throwing the ball and learning how to be a good teammate. Life was great when I was great. My parents' names are Archie and Olivia May. They were great parents and they always supported me and helped me reach my goals. As a child, I was surrounded by football. My dad had been an NFL quarterback. I was not allowed to play organized football until 7th grade because my father did not want to risk injury. When I did begin to play on the team, I had intense dedication and I was very competitive. I always paid attention to every detail of the game. I had 6 college offers during my high school years, and I finally chose the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. I am a 5-time NFL MVP, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and a 14-time Pro Bowl. I am considered one of the greatest quarterbacks in history. I was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame 2021, and I hold records for second first team All-Pro selections. I also held records for career passing yards and touchdowns. My greatest accomplishment was coming back to win 2 Super Bowls, even though I had a very serious neck injury. I never gave up. I am 49 years old. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to write a biography about Peyton Manning because I like football and I really like how he never gave up, even when things are hard. Sometimes when it makes me very proud. Every leader needs to master the intense conversations.
Interested in playing with my friend and my sister Margot. I loved playing ping pong. I did not like math. Life was very good, but it got really bad when Hitler came to power. My parents' names were Otto and Edith Frank. They were loving parents and did their best to keep us safe and together as a family. As a child, I was happy living in Germany with my family. When Adolf Hitler came to power in 1933, things changed for us. My father Otto took us to Amsterdam to get away from Hitler's rule. When Hitler took over Amsterdam, we soon lost all our rights and freedoms. To make sure our family could stay together, we went into hiding. Our hiding place was on the top floors of where my father worked. When I was still young and hiding, I continued for things to get better. I kept a diary that I named Kitty. My father had given it to me on my 13th birthday. Because of my diary, people all over the world know what happened while we were in hiding. It helps people see how dangerous it is to hate. My greatest accomplishment was writing in a diary while my family was in hiding during World War II. My diary has helped people understand the dangers of hate. I lived to be 15 years old. I died on March of 1945 in a concentration camp. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Anne Frank because she wrote in a diary while she was in hiding for 2 years. She couldn't bring her diary with her when she was found, but her friend Meek saved it and gave it to her father. Her diary has touched many lives. Despite everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart.
1946 in Sharon, Jamaica. I think that most people know me because I won 3 gold medals in a row. The Olympics. I am known as the fastest man in the world. I hope to tell you more about myself and the life I live. When I was young, I was interested in playing cricket more than running. I was always very competitive. Life was good when growing up. My parents' names were Wesley Bolt and Jennifer Bolt. They were hardworking parents who ran a local grocery store. They always encouraged me. As a child, I became competitive with other runners. I won a silver medal in the World Junior Championships. I had some challenges that I had to overcome. I was born with scoliosis, which is a curve in my spine. I have to practice difficult strengthening exercises to prevent injury. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. I became the first teenager to win the 200-meter dash in under 20 seconds. 4 years later, at the Games in Beijing, I won 2 gold medals. I became the most valuable. I am the greatest sprinter of all time. I won 8 Olympic gold medals and 11 world championship titles. My greatest accomplishment was being known as the fastest man in the world. I am 40 years old. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I just read biographies and he's known as the fastest man in the world, and I think that's cool. He achieved many things because of his determination. We can achieve whatever we set our minds to. Believe in your dreams and anything is possible.
The Life of Dolly Parton by Ingrid. Hello, my name is Dolly Parton. I was born on January 19, 1947 in Sevier County, Tennessee. I think most people know me because I have my own theme park. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I live. When I was young, I was interested in music. My biggest dream was to be on the Grand Ole Opry and sing to lead the crowd. Life was hard but full of love when I was growing up. My parents' names were Robert Lee and Navy Lee Parton. They were hardworking and loved their family very much. My father was a farmer and my mother took care of the family. As a child, we were very poor. My parents did not have a lot of time for their children because they worked so hard to make enough money to survive. My mother made me a coat out of rags for the winter, and I was very proud of it because it was like Joseph's coat that was in the Bible. The other students made fun of me for wearing it, but I loved it. I would sometimes get in trouble at school for talking too much, and I didn't always fit in, but my family was very proud of me. Everyone knew that I had a musical talent, and I dreamed big. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. The day after I graduated from high school, I headed to Nashville and I began to work to reach my dreams. I didn't have any money, so life was hard. I began working many jobs to survive, and I would sing wherever I could. I wrote songs and I kept dreaming. When I was finally noticed, my career took off. I was recording songs and writing my songs too. My greatest accomplishment was getting to perform on the Grand Ole Opry and sing in Nashville, Tennessee. I am 80 years old. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Dolly Parton because she's a great songwriter. And she created the theme park Dollywood, which is amazing. Being a star just means you find your own special place and you shine where you are.
The Life of Taylor Swift by Joyce. Hello, my name is Taylor Swift. I was born on December 14th, 1989 in West Reading, Pennsylvania. I think most people know me because I write and perform songs about 2014, I moved to pop music with the releasing of my album 1989. I was the first female artist to win album of the year for my greatest accomplishment was becoming a singer and songwriter. I am 36 years old. I hope you enjoy learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose this biography about Taylor Swift because she likes singing, I like singing. No matter what happens, be good to people. Being good to people is a wonderful lesson to live life.
The Life of Barnum Brown by Chase. Hello, my name is Barnum Brown. I was born on February 5th, 1873 in Carbondale, Kansas. I think that most people know me because I discovered the very first complete bones of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I lived. When I was young, I was exploring ancient fossils. As soon as I could toddle, I followed behind my father's plow, plucking up ancient plants. Life was good, very busy when I was little. My parents' names were William and Clara Silver Brown. They were farmers who traveled to Kansas in a covered wagon. My father also dug and sold coal. As a child, I was interested in collecting all kinds of fossils. I was named after the circus owner P.T. Barnum because my family hoped that I would do important and unusual things. I collected ancient corals, clams, and snails and scallops. I had so many collections that they filled our house. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. I was known as the father of the dinosaurs. I had a career of over 15 years where I discovered many species, developed new techniques for excavation, and found evidence of early human habitation. My greatest accomplishment was discovering the complete bones of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I am also known as the greatest dinosaur collector of all time. I lived to be 89 years old. I died on February 5th, 1963. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Barnum Brown because he was the first person to discover the complete bones of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I love learning about his discoveries because I love fossils too. I've never seen anything like it.
The Life of LeBron James by Lynn. Hello, my name is LeBron James. I was born on December 30th, 1984 in Akron, Ohio. I think most people know me because I was a famous basketball player. I want to tell you more about my life, myself, and the life I live. When I was young, I was interested in all kinds of sports, especially football and basketball. I was always very athletic. Life was fun, but sometimes hard. When I was growing up, my mother's name
was Gloria James. She was hardworking and determined to be a good mother. As a child, I began playing team basketball when I was in the 5th grade. My father was not in my life, but a great coach introduced me to basketball at the age of 9, and I loved it. In high school, I averaged 21 points and 6 rebounds per game. As an adult, I had many accomplishments by my sophomore year in high school. There were many scouts coming to my game to watch me play versus the Cavaliers selected me as the first overall as the 2003 NBA draft. I won Rookie of the Year. I also played for the Miami Heat. We won many championships. I returned to the Cavaliers in 2014, but in 2018, I signed a contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. I became the second player in NBA history to cross 40 points and 0 turnovers at the age of 35 or older. My greatest accomplishment was becoming an MVP player in the NBA. I was also the youngest player to score 20,000 points in the NBA. I am 42 years old. I hope you enjoy learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about LeBron James because he plays the same sport as me, and he won many championships, like the NBA championship 4 times. You have to be able to accept failures to get better.
The Life of Steve Irwin by Asa. Crikey! Hello, mates. Name's Steve Irwin. I was born on February 2nd, 1962 in Upper Ferntree Gully, Australia. I think that most people know me because I rescued a lot of animals. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I live. When I was young, I was interested in rescuing animals. I loved the outdoors and all animals. I wanted to play with my father's snakes. Life was nice and happy when I was young. My parents' names were Bob and Lynn Irwin. They were wonderful parents who shared their love of animals and adventure with me. As a child, I liked helping animals. I especially liked helping crocodiles. I started rescuing crocodiles at age 9. I caught my first venomous snake at the age of 6. I was always wanting my mother to stop by the side of the road so I could rescue a lizard or some other type of reptile. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. I turned the Queensland Reptile Park into the world-famous Australian Zoo for animals. I became famous. I also helped out the animals that I rescued. My goal was to release them back into the wild when they heal. I loved animals a lot, and I wanted to care for them. I established many conservation charities. I started the show The Crocodile Hunter in 1996 to bring wildlife awareness to the whole world. My show lasted until 2006. My greatest accomplishment was making my famous TV show, The Crocodile Hunter. I was also very proud of my family, my wife Carrie Minor, and my daughter Mindy Sue. I lived to be 44 years old. I died on September 4th, 2006, from an accident with a stingray. I hope you've enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Steve Irwin because he rescued animals and I really like animals. I've probably saved thousands of people's lives with my educational message on snake bites and how to get around anything venomous.
April 21st, 1926 in London, England. I think that most people know me because I was the Queen of England for over 70 years. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I lived. When I was young, I was interested in horse riding and playing with my sister and being a princess. I never thought I would be queen. Life was happy and carefree when I was growing up. My parents' name were George and Lady Elizabeth Brown's Lion. They were loving and kind parents. As a child, I was princess in England. I lived in Buckingham Palace. My house had 775 rooms. I had to learn proper manners at an early age. My father was king, so I had many responsibilities as a young girl. So I also helped in the army. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. I loved my charity work and I loved being Queen of England. I always loved animals, especially corgi dogs. I owned over 30 dogs. I married my Prince Charming, Prince Philip in 1947. I had 4 children, Charles, Anne, Andrew, and Edward. My greatest accomplishment was becoming Queen Elizabeth II and helping many people in my country through charity work. I lived to be 96 years old. I died on September 8th, 2022. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Queen Elizabeth II because she was the Queen of England for 70 years. I love that she did charity work. People loved her because she loved her country so much. Everyone is our neighbor no matter what race. Princess Diana by Charlotte. Hello, my name is Princess Diana. I was born on July 1st, 1961 in Norfolk, England. I think that most people know me because I became Princess of Wales when I married Prince Charles of England. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I love. When I was young, I was interested in sports, playing the piano, dancing, and diving. Life was hard but very rewarding when I was growing up. My parents' names were John and Frances Windsor. They were wealthy and part of the British nobility. As a child, I was happy and sad because my parents divorced. It was hard because I loved them both so much. I was to play finishing school in Switzerland when I was a teenager, but I begged to come home to England. When I was 18, I moved into an apartment with my friends. I enjoyed being independent and I soon realized that I love working with children and older people. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. I married Prince Charles on February 6, 1981. I was the Princess of Wales, but I wasn't always happy. I did have 2 wonderful sons, William and Harry. When my marriage ended, I spent a lot of time helping others. I traveled around the world visiting homeless shelters and children's hospitals. Reporters followed my every move. My greatest accomplishment was helping people in need, especially children. I visited other countries that have been affected by war. I was called the People's Princess. I lived to be 36 years old. I died on August 31st, 1997. I hope you enjoy learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Princess Diana because I like her style and that she became a princess. Sometimes I like dressing like a princess too. Everyone needs to be valued. Everyone has a potential to give something back.
grade when I was growing up. My parents' names were Samuel and Nancy Anderson. They were wonderful parents, but they made me read lots of books. We lived in a big house in the St. Clair River. As a child, I wanted to find out everything about the world around me. I loved acting like a scientist and learning new things. I did lots of experiments too. My curiosity and love of adventure led me to keep trying. I always wanted to come up with new ways to do things. I did not even mind if an experiment did not work. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. My first invention was the electric voting machine. In 1874, I invented the telegraph. I invented the light bulb in 1879. I also invented machines that with the most source. In 1928, I received a special medal from the U.S. Congress. My greatest accomplishment was inventing many things, including the electric light bulb. I used many materials like jute, tissue, carbonized thread, and hair. I lived to be 84 years old. I died on October 18th, 1931. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Thomas Edison because he liked inventing things, and I like to invent things too. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration.
Hello, my name is Karen Keller. I was born on June 27, 1880 in Tuscumbia, Alabama. I think most people know me because I was deaf and blind, but I didn't let that stop me from achieving my dreams. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I lived. When I was young, I was interested in learning other ways until I learned words and what they meant. Life was hard when I was growing up because I didn't understand the world of darkness around me. My parents' names were Arthur and Kate Keller. They were loving parents who were always trying to find ways to help me learn even though I was blind and deaf. When I was born, I was a healthy baby. I had a very high fever. This caused me to lose my eyesight and my hearing. I was a wild child because I didn't make anyone understand me. When Anne Sullivan became my teacher, this changed my life. She taught me how to use sign language to talk with others. She taught me words and I could even read using them. The first word I understood was water. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. I kept learning all I could. I traveled around the world, gave speeches, and I even wrote stories and books. I first graduated from college and showed the world that anything is possible. I didn't let anything stop me, even though I was blind and deaf. My greatest accomplishment was learning to read and write. I lived in a dark and silent world. I lived to be 87 years old. I died on June 1st, 1968. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Helen Keller because I like that she learned so much from her teacher, Annie, even though she was blind and deaf. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or ever touched. They must be filled with the heart.
Hello, my name is Walt Disney. I was born December 5th, 1901 in Chicago, Illinois. I think that most people know me because I created Mickey Mouse, Disneyland, Disney World. I want to tell you more about myself and what I live. When I was young, I was interested in drawing and telling stories. I began selling my drawings to neighbors when I was very young. Life was fun with Senator's hard when I was growing up. My parents and my Eliza and Flora Disney. They were good parents. We never had a lot of money. But my mother was always dreamed on smiling. My father was a farmer. The things that tickled me as well so much. As a child, I liked to do classic I was determined to be successful. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. In my 1920s, I moved to Hollywood and I created a small animation studio in Illinois. We worked hard on bringing characters to life. Even though our first characters didn't work out, we didn't give up. In 1928, I created Mickey Mouse and a short film cartoon movie. Everybody loved it. I did not stop there. I wanted to create many other wonderful characters like Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy and Pluto. My stories and cartoons continue to go. In 1955, Disneyland opened in California. I also created the most magical place on Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Dreams can really come true. My greatest accomplishment was being a great artist and storyteller, which led me to create my famous theme parks and all of my wonderful Disney characters. Like, I lived to be 65 years old. I died on December 15th, 1966. I hope you enjoyed learning about myself and life I lived, and what I did to become famous. I chose to read and make authors about Walt Disney because he created Disney World and Disneyland. I think he was an amazing and creative man. All of our dreams can come true if we have the courage and to pursue them. The Life of Dwight Diaz by Gordon. Hello, my name is Dwight Diaz. I was born on October 14th, 1890, in Lindsay, Texas. I think that most people know me because I was a federal president of the United States and I led the troops as the Supreme Commander General during D-Day and World War II. Now I tell you more about myself and how I lived. When I was young, I was interested in military history and sports. I was really good at telling outdoor stories around the house. Life was happy, but we didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up. My parents' names were David and Ida Eishad. They're good parents who taught their children to be responsible and make their Bible every day. As a child, I learned the value of hard work. I had 5 brothers and we all loved sports, hunting and fishing. I became very independent at a young age. When I was 14 years old, I almost died of a blood poisoning and refused to have an infected leg amputated. I slowly got better and I healed completely. I went on to become a great athletic in high school. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. As a 24th President of the United States, I was known for always bringing peace and prosperity. I created the interstate highway system, established NASA, and helped to end segregation in schools. I ended the Korean War and I helped balance the federal budget. My greatest accomplishment was being the President of the United States and leading the Allied forces in World War II. I led the D-Day and I received a 5-star rank as a General of the Army. I lived to be 79 years old. I died on March 28, 1969. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read the biography about Dwight Diaz because I like that he was the President of the United States and a great warrior for our country. And the people elected leaders not to rule but to serve. People know me because I was a great baseball player and hit a lot of home runs in one season. I want to tell you more about myself and the life I lived. When I was young, I was interested in baseball, and I had a powerful swing. Life was hard when I was growing up. My parents' names were George Herman and Kit Booth. They were very poor, and we lived in a very small apartment. My mother died when I was 15 years old. As a child, I was always full of mischief, and I was in trouble a lot.
I would get in trouble at school with my teachers, and I was always getting in fights. My father put me in St. Mary's School when I was 7 years old. It was a Catholic school for orphans and troubled children. At St. Mary's School, I learned how to play baseball. When I grew up, I accomplished many things. While at St. Mary's, a priest helped me begin to play for the Baltimore Orioles of the minor leagues. I was paid $600 my first season. It was on the very first day of practice that received the nickname Babe. Later in the season, I was sold to the Boston Red Sox. I got better and better. I was moved from the pitching mound to outfielder where I could play every day. Before I quit pitching, I had won 94 games and lost 46. In 1920, I was sold to the New York Yankees. It was here that I began the greatest years of my career. In 1927, I reached my peak when I had 60 home runs, a season record. My greatest accomplishment was to change baseball. I made the game exciting by hitting so many home runs. I was also kind and generous to my fans. I lived to be 53 years old. I died on August 16, 1948. I hope you enjoyed learning about my life and what I did to become famous. I chose to read a biography about Babe Ruth because I like sports, and baseball is my favorite. It is the only sport I play with the team. A hero gets remembered, but legends never die.
Oh, y'all are fine. I'm just.